Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are working on some brand new Christmas DIYs for the season. We're making some DIY home decor on a budget. Let's get started. We're gonna start off with an 8x10 flat canvas. This is just one of those flat ones without the frame in it, but you could use one with a frame. But this is what I had on hand, so this is what I'm going to use. We're going to take the plastic off, and I'm going to give it a coat of this really pretty light blue paint. I've told you before, I'm just trying to use what I have on hand in my stash, so use something that, you have or that fits with your decor style. I like to share a variety of decor styles in my DIYs, or DIY styles rather, because I think it's important. Some people are naturally creative and can just say, oh, I can do this, but change it up to fit my style. But other people really need the ideas. And so you can change this up to fit your color, your style. You can make it more whimsical. You could make it less whimsical. But this is what I'm doing for this one. So we gave that a really good coat of that blue paint. And then I have this craft kit from Dollar General. I bought it last year, which means I know for sure that I got it marked down, so I didn't pay the dollar that was on there. But Dollar General, Dollar Tree, and lots of, Hobby Lobby, there's all sorts of these little craft kits. And I generally think of these types of things as great little kits for kids. And I think they are. But I was like, how can I take this and, I don't know, use it for like a more substantial decor piece? So that's what we're doing. Today you can find these, like I said, in lots of stores, or do what I do and buy them at the end of the year when everything is marked down. So we're going to just paint all the pieces. We're using everything in this one except for the stand, and we're going to just paint it however I want, paint it however you want. I wasn't sure I was going to use a candy cane, but I didn't end up using it. Just use small paintbrushes where needed in order to get into all of the itty bitty places. And then for colors, I kind of just looked at some images online to kind of get my wheels turning of like what I wanted to do. What the mittens, the scarf, anyway, there's a lot of flexibility. Do with that however, whatever you would like to do for the details and colors that you want to do. And if you need ideas, just look online, look on Pinterest for some inspiration. I did add a little detail in using this white puffy paint or fabric paint. I don't know what this one is called, but you can get this at the Dollar Tree. And I just added a little fur piece to the end of the mittens. Obviously it's not fur, but I think get what I'm saying. I'm going to use some Gorilla Glue to adhere this all together. I'm just spreading it out with my finger. You could use a paintbrush or, something else, because I didn't want it oozing out of the sides. And just be careful to, like I said, not have anything oozing out, not put down too much glue, and then also be careful when you place it down. I had a couple little oopsies placing it down and then it moved. But I always choose a glue that dries clear so that if I do have to do some cleanup, but something occurs, it's easy enough to clean up. Because my candy cane moved around here a little bit and I had to clean up the mitten. But then once that's all in place, just let that fully dry. Now we're going to put this together, and placing this on the canvas, I just felt like putting it in the middle seemed weird. So I put it down at the bottom using more of this Gorilla Glue. And like I said, just kind of spreading it out on those edge pieces so that we didn't have any glue oozing out. And then this is where I accidentally dropped it and I had to clean up some of the glue, but you can't even tell. I was like, I'm going to clean it up, and if I have to, I'll go back and touch up the paint, but you couldn't even tell that it happened. So I thought this was pretty good. I let that dry, and I thought about leaving it there, but then I was like, no, I feel like it needs something else. So I had this Let It Snow decal that a friend gave to me, and then I also had these white snowflake stickers from the Dollar Tree. I decided to go that route and save the Let It Snow for something else because I just felt like this was a little bit more whimsical and playful. They are stickers, but I've had them in my stash for probably a couple of years. So I'm adding in just a little bit of that regular white glue, school glue on the back to help them stick a little bit. And I love how this came out. I put it in a little easel, but you could also place this inside of a frame if you wanted. Just be careful where you place everything so that it can fit in the frame. But I think it looks adorable on the easel. Let me know what you think about this one. Now I wanted to make a little something to go along with our last DIY. So I have these scrap pieces of wood in my stash, and I am just going to give them a coat of the paint of that same blue that I used for the last DIY. And I didn't want to pull the paint out onto like a palette or a plate or something. So that's why I did it this way. But we're going to give it a couple of coats. I didn't even sand these down, and they are a little bit rough in some edges, but it looks great. So, make it as perfect or not as you want. I did the sides, the top, and the bottom, and I think I ended up doing, maybe I don't know if I did 1 or 2 coats, but you're just going to do whatever you need to do. And then let them fully dry. And I have these white stickers. I believe they are from Hobby Lobby that I picked up on clearance. And but Dollar Tree has some stickers, and you can also stencil them on. You could use a Cricut. And I thought it'd be really cute to just put Frosty on here. I thought that looked really cute with the snowman. Sorry, I think I keep saying I'll really notice when I play back the voiceover, but I apologize. So we're going to put that on there. And then I was talking with a friend of mine, and she suggested that, and I love this, I'm adding some Mod Podge and I'm doing some fake snow to make it look a little sparkly. Now this is some I had mixed up from last year, so it's a combination of faux snow and Epsom salt. And I did realize that as I went along that I needed to put a larger amount of Mod Podge, just kind of gob it on. And I put it across the top and on the top corners and along the sides, and I just kind of tap that in and let that fully dry. So that was a really fun addition, and I love how these little blocks came out. I think they're super pretty and fun, and paired with this sign makes for a really nice little whimsical display. And this is something that could be out all winter long if you are in a place where you like to have winter stuff out all winter long. But let me know what you think of this little set. Up next, this one is super easy, guys. This sign is from Dollar Tree. And these letters, this is from Target Dollar Spot, originally $3, but if you could see that sticker there, I got it at a thrift store for 99 cents. So we're really just going to assemble this, but I did want to add a couple little things here. So these stickers are pretty sticky, so I did end up having to move them, and thankfully it worked pretty good. I thought that S was upside down, so I reversed it, and I think I made the right call. But I was trying to center this, but you can't always count the number of letters and center it that way because not all letters are the same size. Anyways, we were able to fix it. But if you do not have this exact thing, Hobby Lobby has very similar sets, or you could just use some wood letter pieces and paint them as well. So even if you don't have all of these exact pieces, there's still ways for you to recreate it. But I had a lot of fun with this, and I was like, you know what? Not all DIYs have to be complicated. Some DIYs can just be quick and simple. But I did want to add one little thing. So I wanted to make a bow, and I like this ribbon, but I needed something way thinner. So I'm going to start by cutting off the wired edge of the ribbon. I've done that many times. Now this is going to be a very frayed ribbon because that is what happens when you cut it, but I didn't care. So I ended up cutting it in fourths, and I think I just used 2 of those strips. But you might not have to do that at all if you have a thinner ribbon. But as I said, use what you have on hand. So I'm just going to crisscross this and fold this down into a bow, and I'm actually going to use some of the wired part of the ribbon that I had cut off and just kind of twist that on and zhuzh it up as much as you can zhuzh up a little tiny bow. Twist that nice and tight, and then I'm going to trim it down. Now, as you can see, this ribbon is fraying. So I'm just trimming off what I can without going too crazy, because it probably will keep fraying if I were to mess with it. But I don't mind. I like this look. So I'm just giving it a little bit of a haircut, trimming it up, and we're going to add just a little bit of hot glue and add this to the opposite side of where the little ornament piece was. But there's so many ways where you can, so many different ways for you to make this same sign. Let me know what you guys think about this and how you might recreate it with items that you have on hand. There's lots of little embellishment pieces at the Dollar Tree and Hobby Lobby, probably other craft stores too. I just don't get to any other ones, so those are the ones I typically mention. For this next DIY, I have this wood house, I believe was from the Dollar General, and I'm just kind of showing you what I did. I took everything off. You take off the roof, and I usually use my heat gun to help soften the glue up and then pry it up. And then I took off the paper from this house. You can sand it You can take a damp cloth, like a damp paper towel, let it sit on there, soak through, and then scrape it off, which is what I did here. And there's still some on there, but it's plenty smooth. So now I'm going to apply a really thick coat of Mod Podge, and we're going to use the scrap piece of paper, which I probably came from Hobby Lobby, but it's just a little scrap piece. And I'm going to press that on. I didn't do the iron-on method here. This is a really thick piece of cardstock, so it doesn't wrinkle. My body got in the way here, but I was trimming it up around the chimney because I was not going to be able to sand it because the chimney was in the way. So I'm using a sanding block to sand the other edges, but around the chimney, I trimmed it down, and I was okay with it even leaving some of the spot exposed because we're going to put our roof piece back on. But just a little tip here, these little emery boards, you want like a stiffer emery board, but it's great at sanding in little small spaces. So we are going to trim off all of the excess paper that way. And then just because of all the sanding and all of that, I did need to touch up the roof. Well, not the roof, the chimney and then the roof pieces. So I just gave them a quick coat of black paint. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Leanne, and I enjoy sharing budget-friendly DIYs here on this channel. I'd love it if you would consider subscribing before you leave. Now, in my stash, I found this little wreath. It came off of something that I had previously DIY'd, and I had saved it. The bow looked a little obnoxiously big for the wreath, so I used my heat gun to soften up the glue. I will save that bow for the future, and I'm going to use the wreath, and I'm going to trim down some of that ribbon that we used really tiny and make an itty bitty bow. Now, not the easiest thing because this ribbon started fraying and falling apart on me, but in the end, it did work. Now, if you don't have an old little wreath lying around, use those little garland ties. They tend to be a little bit more fluffy and fuzzy, so you might have to trim them down. But that's a way that I usually do make a wreath, and you can make one of any size. Well, not any size, but a wide range of sizes. And that was all I did for our little wreath. We're going to put it all back together. We're going to just attach with some hot glue our roof pieces and our wreath. This one is really simple. Sometimes I like DIYs that have a little bit more detail and more depth. And sometimes you just want a little simple piece to kind of be a filler. This would be great on a tiered tray. Or I'm going to show you it paired with the other item we made. Although the other item we made does have a hanger on it, so it could be hung up. But I could also be just used as a leaner sign. But here is that little house, and I love how that little bow came out on the wreath. I think it's really cute, little shaggy thing. And then I just wanted to show you the colors. It matched really good with this, so if you didn't want to hang that sign, like I said, it's nice to have some plain simple pieces without words to go along with your other stuff. For this next DIY, we're going to be using a little mini wreath form from Dollar Tree. They come in a 2-pack, and I have some ribbon in my stash. I don't keep a lot of it, but my mom was given some by somebody, I think from her church, and she wasn't going to use it all. So she's like, hey, do you want some? And I'm pretty sure that's where this ribbon came from. So I pulled out 4 coordinating colors, and I saw a wreath somewhere that had these little strips. I think it was just fabric, but I thought I could use the ribbon. And I thought it looked better wrapped around twice, just so that it wasn't sheer. And I'm just using a little bit of hot glue at the beginning and the end, and I am using finger protectors because otherwise I probably would have gotten burned. And I just wrapped each piece of ribbon around twice, overlapping it just a little bit and pulling it tight so it kind of curves with the wreath. And I just chose a pattern that I thought looked really, really good. And actually, when I picked these ribbons out from that stash that I got to look through, I specifically chose ones that I thought would go together. I didn't have this particular DIY in mind, but I did try to pick out some that would go really well together. So that is all. Well, that's not all we're going to do, but we're just going to repeat this, wrapping it, alternating colors until we make our way all the way around. And you could use, like I said, scraps of fabric. You could use scraps of like felt. There's all sorts of things you can use. A scarf from the Dollar Tree or an old scarf. Many, many different things you can use. But I had ribbon on hand, and so that is what I used. As I told you, we're doing budget-friendly DIYs using what we have. I had a little gap at the top, and so I'm going to just thread in some twine for our little hanger. I'm just using like where you have the loop and you pull the ends through it. That will help it hang up straight when you want to hang this. And then I just put a little knot at the top. So super simple hanger here. You could also use some like floral wire or something like that. And then I wanted to cover up that little gap, plus add some embellishment here. So I've had this raffia. I believe this came from Dollar Tree. They all came together, these three colors. So I picked out a few strands of each color and I thought I really liked the idea of using all of them. So I just kind of gathered them, straightened them up in my hand, and I didn't do a crazy bow. I just kind of folded it where the loops would be and then tied a little piece of raffia, not tied, I wrapped a little piece of raffia around the middle and then glued it. Now, and then I'm gonna glue this onto the top. This is a little bit of a more messy bow. There's some loops, some like straggler straight pieces, and you just do it however you like. If you want a more polished bow, then by all means, you can do that. But I am gonna trim it up a little bit, but it's still gonna be a more messy, shabby chic bow. And then we're gonna go ahead and move on to the center of this wreath. This is a wood plank from the Dollar Tree. They come in like a 6-pack, I think. I had previously painted it gold, but that's not what I wanted here. So we're gonna give this a good coat of black paint. I'm just using an acrylic paint by HTV Rond. Now, originally in my mind, before trying this out and seeing the size, I thought about putting the plank in the front, but it definitely looked better in the back. So I just got that placed so that the bow's on top and the plank was straight across. And I just held it in place and lifted one side up and applied some hot glue. Then my arm got in the way of the camera. But we're just gonna put a good amount of glue on either end and hold that down until it attaches to the back. And with the ribbon there, there's plenty of surface for it to attach. Once that is good and held, I've got this craft glue that I had and this Joy metal word. This is from Dollar Tree. It comes in a 3-pack with other words. And this is just some glue I had on hand and I was having trouble with the nozzle. So we're just spreading it on with a wooden skewer. And just trying to find something that, again, isn't going to be seen if it comes out the edge. And I thought this was a great way to attach this to the center of the wreath. I'm holding that wooden skewer in my mouth, but not the end that has glue. So don't worry, but that's why that was hanging out in the camera shot. And some of it did kind of leak out, so I just held it down, wiped it down with a damp paper towel, and then went over it, kind of dabbing it with a dry paper towel, and all is good. You couldn't even tell. And I didn't have any place to hang this up to show you guys, but this is how the little wreath came out. I love it. Let me know, where do you hang little wreaths? I always love seeing them in the store. And I know you can hang them on like your kitchen cabinet doors, or you could hang them inside of a larger piece, maybe on your front door, or on maybe like a peg, like a shelf with pegs underneath. I don't know. Let me know how you like to display your mini wreaths. All right, well, that is gonna do it for today's video. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you are new to my channel. I would love to have you be a part of my little YouTube family. Say hello down in the comments. All of those things are fun interaction and it helps my channel out. So it's a super easy way to help my channel grow. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.